Splitgate not only dropped the full launch of its game, but also a surprise launch of a Battle Royale mode in that full release. Now, I was already intrigued. We talked about the game last year when it was in a playable state. We talked about the beta a couple of weeks ago. So when they hit me up and asked if I wanted to partner up for a video again to showcase what's new and what you can play with the full game, figured that'd be a great match. So today we're running down what's in the full release, what Splitgate 2's Battle Royale feels like, and what makes it a bit different fundamentally. So let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to subscribe and maybe follow on Twitch as well as we get back into the swing of streaming over there. And thanks to Splitgate for sponsoring this video. So first and foremost, Splitgate 2 is live now and it's free. Whether it be on Steam, PlayStation, or Xbox, wherever you can pick the game up, you can download it and jump right into it. No purchase necessary. That's definitely nice, definitely fun, but the big surprise out of their launch is what we'll start with here, the Battle Royale. So firstly, how it works. Obviously, you know Battle Royales, you know how they work. Fundamentally, have to be the last player or team, in this case, standing. In Splitgate's Battle Royale, you start tethered together in your CD player of a drop ship. You can drop solo, or the jump leader can guide everyone, where then you have to loot up, kill, and survive. Now, loot in this game, you can end up getting things like armor plates, up to 12 at a time, I believe. Armor, which you can also find upgrades to armor, which then elongates the duration of your 3 plates, taking more damage before each plate breaks. Upgraded portal guns, which will take the number of portals you can end up using and increasing that because there is a limit here that you can use in Battle Royale. And then you can find perks to acquire and become basically a super soldier, then weapons, gadgets, and gear and things like that. Smaller stuff, along with, of course, ammo. The world and the zone is something that's made up of the 4 larger maps that are tethered together by portals. So if you ended up playing any of the 24-player Onslaught matches in the beta, or even do that before you jump into the game here in the full release, the overall Battle Royale map is made up of all 4 of those, but again, connected by giant portals at certain edges of the zone. Now, the zone will eventually shrink and collapse different maps at a time until you're down to the sort of final round, as they dub it, and then you're all on one singular map, battling it out. Now, the difference here with Splitgate's Battle Royale beyond the portal perspective of it is the way you end up dying and or wiping a team. You aren't ever actually truly dead until your entire team is killed. So kind of think of it like a hybrid between Battle Royale and Resurgence. You still have that bigger map, you still have that ability to drop in, and in a more traditionalist perspective for Battle Royale, you start and can find more random stuff, but there is still the element of custom classes to it, which we'll touch on in a second, but you aren't truly dead until your entire team is killed. So if you die and your team is still up, whoever you're spectating, once your timer depletes and goes down to 0, that's who you'll end up spawning right next to with the loadout that you started and chose at the beginning of the match while queuing into the game. So you'll end up coming back with a weapon with up to 2 attachments, a secondary, a few perks, and a lethal, and ability, basically your MP class, but on spawn. From there, you can go gather your stuff if you end up finding where you died again. You can end up finding more loot that's upgraded and everything. Basically, this just gives you a fighting chance to get back into the action if it's something like late game. It doesn't guarantee you any success because depending on when you die, enemies may very well have upgraded weapons, armor, and the likes that simply a one-on-one gunfight might not exactly be an evenly tilted match. But it gives you a shot at least. Now, the gameplay feel here for this one, again, like I said, I feel like this is kind of like a Battle Royale hybrid. Last team standing, large map, but you have respawns on your closest teammates that can get you back into the action. It doesn't have a sort of like respawn beacon that you have to go to bring a teammate back, and it's not one of those things that you're just down and out once you are taken out of the game. You can end up getting back into everything. Also, just in the perspective of like time, I often equate like actual Battle Royale matches to something that takes a little bit longer. I have to dedicate around 20 minutes a match if I'm going the distance, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. But for this, if you end up dropping in and end up winning, it'll probably be around like 11, 12 minutes or so on the entire match itself. Queue times and everything, yeah, do have to be added to that, but the actual in-game time is much shorter than what you'd see for like a big map Battle Royale of any other title. One thing that I will say about this, the portal play is a lot of fun. Sure, I absolutely think that I need to get more accustomed to using it more. I found myself more often than not thinking like, oh, I have a limited amount of these, so I'm going to save it for later. And then I never actually really did. Movement can get absolutely crazy. Firstly, there's chain-based movement, which feels really good. And for movement demons, you're going to be able to pull off some crazy plays. Honest to God, I played some people that already made me look silly, so I've seen it firsthand, man. It's possible. It is a lot of fun if you can end up doing it. Plus, there's match modifiers that will sometimes happen, one of which ends up, I think it's doubling the speed of everything in the entire match. So that That's just absolutely crazy. You feel cracked out at that point, and it feels really good. I like that a lot. Now, beyond that, the upgrade system is pretty straightforward and simple to understand. Getting better armor, getting better portal guns. Every time you find one of those items, the next one you find beyond that will be the next level of rarity up. So you just automatically keep compounding and stacking these upgrades so that you don't have to do anything crazy or anything. It just still incentivizes looting even into later portions of the game. Now, you can also buy things from the buy station with like in-game, like in-match currency, not anything that you actually have to go out of your way to purchase or earn or anything like that. I think it's granted by kills and other things in match that you'll just accrue over time. But for relatively cheap, you can get things like armor upgrades, which honestly, those do become very worthwhile. The earlier, the better. On the flip side, though, while I do enjoy a lot of the mechanics and everything that we have here out of this, I definitely think this needs a contextual tap style setting, or something that it's at least like a prioritize interact style setting, just because this, I think, slows down the pacing a little bit when you try and jump into a populated area or you need to find something off of an initial spawn that somebody's either chasing you, shooting at you, whatever the case, you need to open that chest. Instead of just tapping your button to interact with it, you have to hold it there for a second or two, and of course, that's something that then after interacting with and picking up those other items in the chest, that's a couple of seconds that could actually be life or death in your match itself. So I definitely think that that's something that I'd like to see in the future. And on a more critical note, though, I also would be mindful if you jump in of any hitching you may experience. The first few days I was playing, at least, not entirely sure when this video will make it up in the content schedule, but the first day and two in particular, I did notice hitching at random points around various map regions that were pretty noticeable stutters, one of which I almost lost a gunfight because, but thankfully I did not. But it is something that I feel like should be ironed out in the future, but just know of it right now. But that's the Battle Royale mode. Outside of that, of course, we had the full launch of the entirety of Splitgate 2 at this point. The full game. One nice thing that we talked about with the beta coverage and talking about that is that while it was only like a 2-week beta or so, and while there were some issues that persisted at the very beginning of that, the cool thing is that all of your beta progress carries forward. So unlike other games that will do betas where it's just a simple playtest and then everything is wiped, everything you did in the last 2 weeks leading up to this point, it now is available in your actual game. So I jumped in with some friends that I had stuff leveled up. They didn't. Beyond that, you have all the maps, all the modes, and all the content. Battle Royale, Quick Play, 24-player Onslaught, which again is those BR maps individually. Arena, no portals, Team Deathmatch, OG Splitgate, which is the Splitgate 1 mechanics, and more. You have special events like a launch celebration to get special event items that you can end up earning as you play. The challenge system is there that rewards you with tickets for the Battle Pass. I kind of think that's a nice way to do the Battle Pass, if I'm honest with you, incentivizing play more than anything else, trying different things out. I don't know in time if that'll be something that I eat those words or not, but anyways, the Battle Pass is also there. It's broken into 3 different chapters, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that just yet. Chapter 2 opens up in a few weeks, and then Chapter 3 opens up another 4 weeks after that. One thing that I will say I did not like about the Battle Pass system, admittedly, and it's probably a small thing in the big picture, I get it, but there's not a single free Battle Pass tier that's a weapon skin. It's kind of a bummer for me. A lot of the stuff that's in the free tiers is just stuff you probably wouldn't care about or really think you'd want to work towards. So for that to not have a skin or anything in at least one of those across all 3 of those different chapters was a little bit of a bummer. Now, I will say one thing that you probably heard about, again, don't know when this video is going up and when it gets published, but there was a little bit of controversy the other day following the launch of the game. To preface, microtransactions are and always will be in free-to-play games. It's how dev teams stay afloat. If you don't have the initial purchase power of a $40, $50, $60, $70 game going towards the studio and paying bills, keeping the lights on, they're going to have to supplement that income somewhere. Though one thing that was subject to scrutiny, and I personally think rightfully so, was a bundle that was the largest bundle they had. It was mythic level gear for everything, but it was $80 and advertised as a deal at that point that otherwise would have cost $140. Now, my immediate reaction is, hot damn, that's expensive. And seemed that way for a lot of other people in the scene. Started a huge debate, and honestly, good on 1047 because they actually immediately jumped in and said, actions speak louder than words. We are here to listen and act based on your feedback. And since then, with a video that was like, I think 4 minutes detailing the situation, since then, prices were slashed, which is definitely nice. I don't know the economics of it, but I've always considered, like, if a microtransaction item was cheaper, I'd be more inclined to buy it versus if it's more expensive, I probably won't. So I guess there's a calculation that we're not privy to, volume of cheaper sales or lesser quantity of higher priced items, which one ends up yielding more. Who's to say? But either way, we did see prices slashed after this whole sort of controversy and discussion with the community, which is definitely cool as a revision to immediately jump in and act off player feedback like that, making it a bit more accessible to players in an environment that it's going to have to happen. Like, it's something that they're not going to just remove microtransactions, because at that point, the game would cease to exist. So that's at least nice that they adjusted it accordingly. And one thing that I will say, talking about their shop, I again don't really care for cosmetics all that much and buying this kind of stuff. I'm probably not going to buy anything, but I do appreciate the fact that in the bundles in this shop is you can buy individual items. It's not locked behind the entire bundle of things you don't like for one skin. You can end up buying individual items, which is definitely a nice way to do that, I think. But anyways, that is Splitgate 2's launch, the Battle Royale, everything you can expect to see in the full game and everything in between. So drop your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? Are you liking Splitgate as a fun alternative here for you for the first-person shooter genre? Liking it, disliking it? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. We're getting all things FPS content, Splitgate, Arc Raiders, Call of Duty, Battlefield. We got you covered here on the channel. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.